This is ROACHED and working on the Corvair 1965 Convertible Monza Corsa 140. I'm working on the back window right now. It was about there when we got the car, and I managed to get it to go up. You can see where it's been down inside and where it's been up in the weather. And I managed to get the window to start behaving, so the mechanics don't feel like I'm going to have to dive into and replace. And I tore the little piece of plastic off the front there. There was between the car window and the back gasket where the roof goes over. The door handle still does not open yet, but I'm working on it. I got deep creep down in there, ready to go. I got a window channel here I can see now. I'm going to run some lithium grease down it, just for the guide to slide up and down. Well, now, it did not. There we go. That was close. Did not spray into my eye. Okay, and this one have freed up quite a lot, but it has not got the top inch or so. And now it's definitely curving inward. I can see that. Where if I bring it out, it tends to come on up a little bit more at a time. So there might be a guide in there that fell off the glass that's not keeping it in the proper frame. It could be leaning slightly forward. Okay, which way are we going, guys? Down, there we go. But it's going up and down a lot easier now with just a little bit of canned lubrication. Now once I get to that point that it binds, it doesn't want to go the rest of the way up. And I want to make sure I got the window open, the door open, before I really get the window all the way to the top. But the door handle has not yet released. But the door glass is definitely working nicely now. Up and down easily enough. But it gets to right there, and there's a little dent in the door, which I think is pushing on the glass. And it should be there when it comes up the rest of the way. And basically, almost right there is the top of the stroke. Yeah, that's definitely tight. Of course, you can't see me now because I'm behind the glass, but it's definitely up there. And I took away the weather strip, which goes right here between the back glass and the front glass, because it was catching on the door frame when I tried to put the back glass back down. This one tends to get stuck, but then as soon as it starts down, it actually wants to go down. There we go. And that's quite easy from there forward. So the door handle mechanism has not freed itself yet, but I only just put deep creep on it today, so I might wait till tomorrow to try to get it open. We've had rain, rain, rain all week long, and haven't been able to come out and work on the car even though it's rainy today. I'm under the carport now. When we were towing the car, one tire rolled one way and one tire rolled the other way in the back, so I know the transmission is doing its thing. So the transmission's not bad. The engine might not work, I don't know, haven't tried that yet. The front tire would not turn on the driver's side. On the passenger side, it did roll. So we had some steering, but not very much. And we had to, like right here, I just picked that off. There's a lot of heavy-handed Bondo work back in the quarter panel. It's almost like the car got crunched, rear-ended gently, but enough that it flexed at some crucial points. So there's a couple of lines that are off. The door handle, the door has a dent right here, which kind of bends in, but I think I can straighten that one out with no problem. I did find these little guys, and I was going all over the car looking for where they belonged. I couldn't find any holes along where they belonged. Turns out they go on the door panels now. And the front door is exactly that length. So these are from the door panels themselves, which are also roached as everything else is in this car. And but I found them. It's important. It's original. It had white seats, well, red seats that bleached out white, but they're red seats and a white top. I definitely found the white top. So the R-1 is correct. So these are definitely red seats for the interior, and we got two, count them, two cigarette ashtrays for those kids riding in the back. Right here are the remnants of the convertible roof, and it was white, so we know that. We did put deep creep on the top, so it should pull up. Okay, here we go. It should pull up and stretch across. We are missing the little hook here, right up in this little, goes under here and clamps. Kind of hooks under and pulls up, or pulls the front of the roof down so you can drive highway speeds. And so one of the ones about the alignment issues is right here in the middle of the front windshield is a tree limb came and karate chopped the roof frame, busting out the windshield. And if you look along it, instead of going straight across, it kind of dips down. So I need new rubber gasket. I might need a little bit of a strength replacement, I don't know. I've got one or two pieces of chrome I still haven't located. This one came in, and that either goes, well, it doesn't go there because it's got the bottom edge on it. See the edge there? So this one goes over here on the driver's side and latches right there and comes up, but that's too tall. So no, this one goes up in this corner, reaches across to the middle piece on the other side, and a little clip that fits on both of them slides over to this way. You stick it in, you slide it back to the center of the two. So I'm probably missing that piece too. There's considering that this sat in the woods for 37 years and it was bought secondhand, it had been modified slightly, it had been a little wreck damaged. It surprisingly got a lot of features still here, you know, every bit of the convertible top except for this little guy, and that was probably missing when my brother bought it from the original owner, and my brother parked it and didn't get it going. So, oh, we got an emergency brake handle, I can see that now, and this light. It doesn't want to move, but oh boy, it doesn't want to come loose either. That may have been why we had such trouble dragging it. The clutch pedal is a hydraulic clutch, and it's all the way to the floor. The gas pedal is all the way to the floor. So I believe the reason for that is because I've got the carburetor disconnected. The 4 on the floor, or the 3 on the floor, or whatever it is just not even moving at all. So we got to work on that. It's got a Chevrolet, looks like an AM radio. It's got a lighter, no ashtray. It's got the the accessory on-off start here. And the radio, excuse me, the radio speaker is totally shot. Who saw that one coming? It's not going to be there. But I'm thinking about putting like a Bluetooth radio or something in the glove box, but on a convertible. Door locks, you don't want to lock your door and go into it like a mall. You'll come back and your roof will be slashed if your car's even there. It's better to leave it wide open, let people see that you don't care if you got something in the back seat that's going to get stolen, like a teddy bear or something. Nobody's going to worry about taking that stuff. One of the things, when I had my MGB convertible and I went to the mall, yeah, people like to drop their garbage in your car because they hate that you own a convertible. That said, you can see I need a wire for the funny, I forgot what they were called in the other video too. Anyway, for the sun visors, I need the wire here on this one. I need the wire on this one because this one's just totally rusted apart. So I need the actual rod. I'll probably have to recreate it and then hang the rod up inside this little gizmo with a rubber piece. But like I say, at $180 a piece for just the visors that are fabric covered cardboard, I might just consider buying 2 baseball caps and keeping them in the glove box. The back seat rests on these hooks behind the metal, and it was not there when I let me just make sure I got there's okay, there we are. The back seat rests on these hooks on the rear wall with these wires coming across. So if you've got upholstery and you can't see what you're doing back there, it'll be really easy to miss those. And then down here somewhere on the bottom is a I haven't got it completely vacuumed out down there, is a little screw down gizmo at the back. But there's 3 clips. There's one on one side, one right in the middle, and one on the other side. the muffler came off, and I don't know how those connect underneath, so I don't know what it'll look like when I get the back end lifted. The 140. They even pulled this little hoop up here. You can see the place where they drilled the hole, took the hammer and pulled it, and it yanked the metal out, and then they smoothed out to match the other side. Oh, we got wasps. How about that? They're trying to get back to their home. Even though I got it out of the woods way over there between the pickups, and on the left side of that tree, that's where it used to sit. And before that, way down yonder, across the street and down behind those weeds. Let me go all the way, zoom in. Right down there, there's a shed. Let's see if I can get this. There's a shed, and right to the left of that shed is where this thing sat for 37 years. So we got out of the woods down there in front of that shed, and then we dragged it up into the yard, and it sat for another, well, 32 years it sat down there. And then it sat in the yard for another 5 years for my brother to decide he didn't want to deal with it. So now it's under my carport, and like I say, the tires are on original wheels, I presume. The tires themselves are showing signs of distress, not just merely flat. Yeah, it was in bad shape, but it looks like they used undercoating when they first built it. And again, if you hammer on the car in any major spot, it's pretty solid. Here we have one of those little clips. See it there? It hooks underneath with a spring, and then it lifts up and clamps and pulls backwards. Let me see if I can get the whole thing in the frame at once. There we go. And it lifts up and clips and clips. And it comes into this little hole right here. So it should put the flap in, hang down, get matched up correctly with all of its pins and registers and everything else. Come this way and push down, and then you reach up and you pull your hood down the rest of the way with this latch, like that. So all those people with Corvairs that don't have their mechanism working right, or they're trying to lubricate their mechanism, that's how it works. It reaches up and grabs, and then pulls down, and the spring clamps and holds. And that way, when the roof is jumping up and down in the wind, it doesn't rip the top off at highway speeds. These cables, I don't know what they do, but I know they're sold as part of a kit. When you're getting roofs, I think it holds the metal down, and it should go right there. And then this thing pulls taut right there. That attaches right there. As part, right now it's rusted off, but that right there adjusts forward, backwards, and this one here is solid, and you put your cable on here, thread it through the roof, comes out the front, and you adjust it, and you like pull it with a screwdriver, and you drive the nut in real tight. So I believe that holds the roof down on the edge onto the glass. And here's some more of the white roof coming out. We got some hard broken rubber pieces here that'll have to be replaced, but the majority of the roof has all of its parts here. There's staples here where somebody put the headliner through, and then that holds it down so you don't get a big balloon roof as you're driving down the highway. It keeps it nice and tight. And then this one is just a bar that pushes up against the roof where it starts to make its corner. And then this comes in somewhere at this angle here, somewhere, I don't know which angle exactly. But it basically allows you to look out the back window. So there's the roof line. Then it comes over here to this bale, and wherever it fits in the roof, you staple your staples into this rubber piece, and then the rest of it gets clipped under this. And at that point, when you bolt through the bottom, your glass is all the way down to the chrome strip, because you can see this is, I don't know if you can tell, but this is plastic window glass here, and here's the back holding down the roof, and then it comes back out under this chrome strip with the snaps, and under this chrome strip is that metal piece holding the back end of the roof. So you don't actually cut it off, you just put it in there and bolt it on. Here's another corner with that white original plastic roof. I'm presuming that's vinyl, like records. Not that you can twist and shout. Yeah, it won't do that on this kind of vinyl. But there's another interesting thing here. This is the drip edge of a capture plastic that comes in and hangs out and goes into this little rail here, and you tuck it down in there or slide it in, and then the roof, if it leaks into the liner and drains over to the side and down into the fender hole, or it'll end up falling into the car. There's the springs for the roof. We've got plenty of the mechanism going on. So if anybody is working on a convertible roof and you need to see what's behind all that fabric, here's your look. Again, I don't know the exact angle that's supposed to sit at, but the fabric on the top will make it hold itself. This one is rigidly here, right over the door, about halfway through the door glass. It's right where that one lines up. It comes up. Here's another one. This one is at an angle forward, but I believe it is supposed to be straight up and down, like that. Yeah, that's turning full circle. So, well, not full circle. That's turning over and forward and backward. So that will adjust itself as the roof goes up and down. And then to be able to unclip it from the corner, you reach under here as the driver and you pull this bale out. I can't do it with that strength on my right hand because I have had 2 strokes. So my right hand is weak, especially at full length. But anyway, it pops out, releases the mechanism, and I'm going to make sure this is as wide as possible. Yeah, that's as wide as it gets. And then we put the top down into its holding cell. There we go. Like I say, there's some heavy-handed Bondo going on here. There was something interesting. There's a little catch here. Apparently the top, when it comes down, catches there and stops going further. I'm not sure. There is one on the other side. We did a little damage to the rear quarter panel anyway, but like I say, there's just so much Bondo, thick, heavy Bondo thrown on this car. They didn't layer it, so it cracked-lured, and then it came apart. So if they had gone in layer by layer with the Bondo, they probably could have saved that little extra piece of work for me. But over here is the same thing, just over the fender well. There's a little damage there, and that's coming off in sheets. So I know there's some lines are not quite right. I don't know exactly what is right, but it looks like they pulled it out mostly to the right place. And if I go along this route right here, you'll see a dimple right there. There's actually damage to the door itself of the paint, but if you go along the line and look down the row, it bends in right at that point, then it comes back out. So yeah, that's needs to be bent out from the inside of the door. This is the wing glass. There's a right up under here is a pivot. So you reach in here and you flip open your wing glass and you pivot it out, and that'll keep the wind from blowing straight along and straight into your ear. It'll vent it away from you, pulling the air around the inside of the windshield out the side of the car and allowing a small amount of air back in. So it vacuums out the car. If you're driving a convertible anyway, the windshield puts it all up, and the Bernoulli effect brings it all back in the back of your head, so you get fresh air when you're driving with your top down. The vent here gets its air from a shaft underneath the dash there, in between the gas pedal and the piece of cardboard in the way. And that tunnel runs all the way under the car, all the way to back here, then up into this box area where it gets heat from the engine to defrost your windshield. There is no radiator on these cars. This side too does have the catch on it, so we can bend it in some and see if it'll catch and hang that one piece right there. This looks bent in a little bit. Because it only needs to get, there we go, now it's there. That's where it should sit. And that's your little piece I'm missing. If anybody's got these things for sale, let me know. I need one for the other side, including the pivot pin in there. So that little pivot pin way down in there that lets this thing stay on. I need that for the other side. This side does have all the other mechanics, and it will latch there. Well, I got the pivot pin even. Look at that, there's a pin. So I just need the little chrome piece with the adjustable hook. that hook unscrews a little bit, or screws in a little bit, and that's just how tight that gasket holds down to that front window. So my thoughts on the Corvair. Cute little car. Nice to be a convertible. I don't think I like the way they look as a sedan, but it's simply overwhelming. It's simple in that it's got a carburetor, it's got wires, it's got a distributor. All those things are easy to work on. It's difficult to work on because it's got air-cooled cowling all around the engine that goes specific places and blocks specific things to get the maximum amount of air to blow across the part that gets hot and blow the hot air in the proper places into the car interior. So that's kind of weird, and it's a weird application. There is no radiator, so that makes it even more simple, but then the cowling adds a complexity. The transmission is a rear-wheel drive transmission, standard, pretty easy to work on and all that. And then again, the engine comes from behind it, so it folds around some corner to go to the sides back there. I'm glad that I don't have to really work on that, because I saw the back tires turning in opposite directions, which means something was rolling back there and moving. So that's a good sign. It's everything that you think is normal has a weird application in this car, except for like the convertible roofs, the hinges on the door, that sort of thing. The gas tank is in the front. The front is big enough to hold a family of patients. Anyway, it's kind of large. I might rent it out if I don't get funded pretty soon, because all these little guys keep adding up bit by bit. So, appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, do all that stuff that everybody else does on their channel. I'm not monetized by YouTube yet, so everything is on a GoFundMe at this point. But I don't have any sponsors. That's why I keep these partially blocked. I do mention the name Seafoam, not Seafoam, but Deep Creep, because the very first day I pulled it out of the woods down there, I sprayed the Deep Creep on the convertible top, and it came right up the next day. Well, no, in about 3 hours. It came right up without squeaking or making any noises, and then 5 years later, I put it on again, and you saw that even though it's a struggle to bring it up and down, that's because it's got really heavy tension strings holding it down. Anyway, I do mention that one because I believe in the product, not that Seafoam is sponsoring me. So I bought these retail price at another parts store here in town. We only have two that are right here in town. One of them Adventure works somewhat, and the other one is really a green store. So they're right across the street from each other. Then you got your typical Walmart department. I'll probably end up buying the tires there, but I'm not going to put money into the tires until I'm sure the engine's running. Thanks for watching.